So guys, we are getting a new red zone event for the worldwide download celebration. Of course, with it being around the Cooler Revenge film, it is a wicked Bloodline edition of the ultimate red zone. Not gonna lie, I didn't think they were gonna revisit red zone after the 7-year anniversary, just like the God event. I thought it was gonna be a one and done type thing, and then they would take influence from the difficulty and accommodate with the new 200% leads, and that's how they would progress going forward with new stages of like Super Battle Road, ESBR, new events in general. But no, it looks like Dokkan is sticking to red zone, which I don't completely mind. For the most part, red zone was a pretty enjoyable experience, apart from Broly, mainly because of his AoE phase. So, you know, hopefully they can learn from that and kind of make things quite challenging while also being still relatively fun. Hopefully they get rid of the attempt cap. Hopefully they get rid of 3 attempts a day and you can just try it unlimited times, but I don't know how likely that would be. But yeah, I stand corrected. Red Zone is here to stay. So going forward, we could easily see more editions of Red Zone, which again, as I said, I don't really mind. Just, you know, as I said, I don't want another Broly AoE phase where I'm just praying to God by double Weezy I can get through the rest of the event. But that's just me. But do let me know what you think down in the comments about a new Red Zone stage or a new Red Zone event happening around Wicked Bloodline. With that being said, I'm just going to do a short video going through the potential stages we could see and how they could do them. At the end of the day, it's entirely up to Dokkan. But we've already seen through the original movie edition and GT edition red zones, all of the different kind of gimmicks they can have. You know, you have the KO attack, you can't seal, you can't stun, you can't lower attack and defense. Some of them you can't dodge, you can't counter. They may lock you, they may seal you, they may stun you, they might lower your attack and defense or one or the other. There's multiple gimmicks they could do here. But there's a lot of Wicked Bloodline characters. I mean, I know a lot of these are kind of basically the same character, but there's quite a few. In terms of individual characters we could see for individual stages, again, they don't even have to do multiple. Like, when I say multiple, I mean they don't have to do a lot. They could do a few stages, and they're probably going to be released throughout the entirety of the worldwide download celebration, which is fine. But we could potentially see stages around Metacooler. There's also Mecha Frieza and King Cold. That could be one stage, or they could separate them, but they'll probably be together. You have essentially Final Form Frieza. They could do something with his other forms, or maybe you split some of them up. There is also the likes of Golden Frieza, Final Form Cooler. Of course, we've already seen Final Form Cooler in the movie edition of things, so they might alter the way they do things here, or essentially have similar phases, but change the gimmicks. But there's of course Cooler himself. There is also we could see Golden Cooler. I don't expect it to be likely, but at the end of the day, it's entirely up to Dokkan. It's a possibility. There is also the likes of, I don't think they'll do Coolizer, but again, at the end of the day, if they wanted to, they could. But that one I really don't see happening. Then there is also Chilled. They could do a whole stage around Chilled. Literally, they could make it one phase, make it really difficult. They can make it 1, 2, maybe even 3 phases and spread the difficulty out where you just face him multiple times. But there are quite a few different variations we could see for stages. So, you know, for example, with Metacooler, you could, I don't know, you could face Metacooler's army where you have, you know, 4 or 5 of them that you have to fight. Won't be too difficult, kind of like the Bojack squad. You get through it relatively easily, and then the difficulty ramps up when you face Bojack himself. They could do that with Metacooler. So after you beat all the kind of clones of him, or you know, the Metacooler army, whatever it's called, you then face Metacooler by himself, and then you could face his giant form. That could be one of the stages. In terms of Mecha Frieza, you could face him by himself, and then have King Cold as a whole new stage. But I think the likely one could be King Cold, then you fight Mecha Frieza. In terms of normal Z Frieza, a lot of people have been saying maybe you fight through all of his forms, you know, first, second, third, fourth, you know, then full power and then golden. They could do that. I don't see them doing it because I do still potentially believe one day there could be a Fighting Legend Frieza event, but again, they could still do it. You know, considering we did see, what is it, the Shadow Dragon stage where you faced all of the Shadow Dragons, but they could do that if they wanted to. I mean, I'm all for it if they want to do it, but they could also attach some minion stages to these. So, you know, you could have the Ginyu Force and then First Form Frieza, or maybe Zarbon and Dodoria, and then you face First Form Frieza. and then maybe he goes and transforms, or maybe he skips the final. They could do something like that, but you know, first form Frieza could easily have minion stages. As I said, you have the Ginyu Force, or you have Zarbon the Dodoria. Those two are probably the most likely. Then, for example, with Golden Frieza, you have the new Frieza Force with Sorbet and, you know, the bull-looking Don, and I think his name begins with a T, but I always forget what it is. You know the bull Don basically just looks like a generic alien. You know, you could face him, then face Golden Frieza. Golden Frieza could even have a KO attack attached to him, because, you know, he tries to blow up the Earth. Same with Full Power Frieza. You know, you must die by my hand. You could also have a KO attack with him. So I don't think with Frieza specifically, they're going to go through all of his transformations, just because, again, as a Golden Frieza, we could see the new Frieza Force with Sorbet and etc. Then you fight Golden Frieza. Then you have, like, the KO attachment to it. Same with Full Power Frieza. You might have Final Form Frieza as a stage. You start by fighting him, goes in full power. Then you have the whole, you must kill him in this amount of time, otherwise he's going to do the, you must die by my hand. That could be one of the stages. Or then again, if Dokkan really wants to go wild, you could fight every single form leading up to Golden or just full power. But then also, as I said, you could see a first form Frieza stage where you face minions like Zarbon and Dodoria, then fight him. That could be an option. What else do we have? Cooler, they're gonna have to do things slightly different. As I said, they could either change up the way they do his phases, or they basically could just attach different gimmicks compared to the movie edition of things. But of course, you have the Cooler Force, the Cooler Squad, you know, Thouser, etc., which I'm pretty sure they already done for the movie edition. So then maybe they could just start with, you know, Final Form Cooler, or Cooler, and then he transforms, and then just attach different gimmicks. Or maybe they could attach Golden to it as well. That could really make it different, but I don't know how likely it is for them to do that, but it could be a possibility. And then for the likes of Chilled, you could, as I said, you could literally just fight Chilled. Literally by himself. You might be able to face, you could face him in just one phase, and it's really difficult. Or maybe you have to fight him in 2 different phases just to switch up the typing, and still be really difficult. But yeah, there are multiple ways they could do this. They don't have to limit themselves. As I said, you don't have to just go through all of Frieza's transformations. You could have separate stages for different kind of versions of Frieza. As I said, there are a few of them you could do minion stages for, but you know, if they really want to go wild with it, they could easily do, as I said, the whole, you know, line of transformations. But then of course, with Red Zone Movie Edition and GT Edition came the banners, and this is the part where I get interested. So the Wicked Bloodline banner can have quite a few decent units on it. You know, some of these have aged a bit, some of them need EZA soon, but they could easily do a Wicked Bloodline banner. Unfortunately, won't have any Dokkan Fests on it. Outside of that, you know, on JP anyway, you could have this Golden Frieza, which is a huge pickup if they decide to add him there. The Strength LR Full Power Frieza, who's kind of deserving of an EZA sometime soon. There's also the 2 Golden Friezas they could add on there just because they're so old. Potentially as well. Third Form Frieza's a good pickup. There's a few decent units in there they could put on the banner. Although I think a lot of them probably won't get on there. But if it was up to me, some of the older Dokkan Fests will get put on there as well. Just because, again, they're so old at this point. But still, the banner could look quite interesting. Or the banner could have some decent value depending on how they decide to do things. But yeah, those are potential some of the stages we could see for Wicked Bloodline. They do have quite a variety depending on how they want to do things. But let me know what you would want to see. Let me know what you think about Red Zone basically continuing. What you think about it surviving, of them adding new stages to Red Zone or new additions to Red Zone. And also let me know what type of stages you would want to see in the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone event. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. And peace.